My child, I see the storm inside you, the thoughts that won't settle, the emotions that feel heavy, and the worries that keep circling in your mind. You've been trying to stay strong, trying to stay calm, trying to hold everything together. But deep inside, there are waves crashing that no one else knows about. But listen to me now. This storm will not last. I am stepping into the chaos within you, and I am bringing peace, not temporary relief, but deep, steady, lasting peace that anchors your spirit and silences fear. My child, I see what you've been carrying inside. I see the thoughts that shift between faith and fear. I see the emotions that rise without warning. I see the heaviness that sits in your chest, the tension in your mind, the exhaustion in your spirit. You've been trying to calm yourself, trying to silence the noise inside you, trying to pretend everything is fine. But the storm has been loud, hasn't it? Loud in your thoughts, loud in your heart, loud in the places no one else sees. You've smiled through it. You've continued moving forward. You've handled responsibilities. You've been strong for others. You've tried to keep going, but deep inside, the storm has continued no matter how quietly you carried it. There were nights when sleep didn't come easily, not because you weren't tired, but because your mind wouldn't rest. There were days when everything seemed normal on the outside, yet inside you felt overwhelmed. There were moments when your heart felt unsettled, when questions came faster than peace, and when uncertainty felt bigger than faith. You tried to shake it off. You tried to pray through it. You tried to distract yourself, but the storm lingered, like a cloud that refused to move. And I want you to hear me now. I am not disappointed in you for feeling this way. The storm inside you is not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of failure. It is not evidence that your faith is gone. It is not proof that you are far from me. The storm is proof that your heart is in transition, moving from what was into what will be. Storms appear in the middle of change, in the middle of spiritual shifting, in the space between the old and the new. Storms rise when the enemy senses what I am building in you. Storms form when your spirit is growing stronger. Storms intensify when breakthrough is near. You are not the only one who has felt this. Many of my children have experienced storms like this, storms that were invisible to others, storms that tested their endurance, storms that tried to exhaust their hope. But every storm has purpose. Every storm carries meaning. Every storm reveals something that cannot be discovered in calmness. In storms, you learn to depend on me differently. In storms, you learn that your strength has limits, but mine does not. In storms, you learn that peace is not the absence of challenges. Peace is the presence of my voice within them. There have been days when the storm made you question whether you were losing progress, losing faith, or losing stability. But hear me, you have not lost anything. You are not going backward. You are not unraveling. You are not falling apart. You are evolving. Your spirit is stretching. Your faith is deepening. Your capacity is expanding. What feels like emotional chaos is often spiritual construction. I am rebuilding parts of your life. I am unpacking what you buried long ago. I am healing what you ignored. I am strengthening what was fragile. I am restoring what was damaged. And sometimes, restoration feels like a storm before it feels like peace. You've asked me quietly, Lord, why does it feel like this? Why does it feel unsettling inside? Why does it feel like everything is shaking? And my answer is simple. Because I am removing what cannot stay. Fear cannot stay. Doubt cannot stay. Old wounds cannot stay. Anxiety cannot remain as your normal. The storm is not working against you. It is working for you. I am clearing out what has weighed you down. I am breaking thought patterns that no longer belong to you. I am removing emotional burdens you were never meant to carry. The shaking is not destruction. It is transformation. Do not mistake discomfort for abandonment. Do not mistake silence for absence. Do not mistake confusion for failure. I am closer to you in the storm than you realize. You may not feel me the same way you did in calm seasons, but I am here. Sometimes you sense me through peace, but sometimes you sense me through disruption, because disruption often reveals what needs healing. My child, you don't have to hold yourself together alone. I never asked you to carry everything by yourself. I never expected you to be strong all the time. I never wanted you to pretend you were okay when you were hurting. I never designed you to live with a storm inside of you. The storm was never meant to become your home, only a temporary season. You've convinced yourself that you must stay strong because others depend on you. But now, I want you to depend on me. You've convinced yourself you must solve everything in your mind, but I want you to rest your thoughts in my presence. You've convinced yourself you must handle everything perfectly, but I want you to release the pressure and simply breathe with me. You don't have to prove your strength. I already know how strong you are. You don't have to pretend you're not hurting. I already see the hidden wounds. You don't have to suppress what you're feeling. I already know every layer of your heart. What I need now is not your performance. It's your surrender. Let the emotions rise, not to overwhelm you, but so they can leave you. Let the tears fall, not because you're breaking, but because you're healing. Let your guard down, not to become vulnerable to pain, but to become open to peace. You may not realize it, but something is already shifting. The storm inside you is not as wild as it was before. The pace of your thoughts is slowing. The fear is losing its grip. The uncertainty is softening. Hope is returning, slowly, gently, steadily. Sometimes the storm must be acknowledged before it can be silenced. And now that you've acknowledged it, healing has begun. You are not losing control. You are not failing spiritually. You are not stuck. You are being restored, layer by layer, breath by breath. I will quiet the storm within you, not by force, but with my presence. Not through fear, but through peace. Not by demanding change, but by becoming the calm your heart has been longing for. The storm will not define you. The storm will not last. The storm will not drown you. The storm will pass, and when it does, you will rise with clarity, strength, and peace. You are safe. You are held. You are seen. You are loved. And now, the healing begins. My child, now that your heart has acknowledged the storm and allowed me into the places you once carried alone, I want you to understand what I am doing within you. I am not simply calming the storm. I am transforming you through it. This season is not about enduring chaos. It is about discovering peace that does not depend on circumstances. You have lived long enough responding to life from a place of survival, overthinking, self-protection, and emotional pressure. Now, I am teaching your spirit how to breathe again. Not shallow breaths that barely keep you going, but deep, steady breaths that remind you that peace is not something distant or occasional. It is part of who you are when you rest in me. There were many times when fear was louder than faith, when worry had more influence than trust, when anxiety guided your thoughts more than calmness did. You were not weak. You were human. You were navigating situations without clarity, futures without direction, emotions without answers, and seasons where nothing made sense. The storm you felt inside wasn't simply emotional. It was spiritual, mental, and physical all at once. The weight affected your sleep, your energy, your focus, your confidence, and your hope. But I never intended for fear to become your foundation. I never intended for worry to control your thoughts. I never intended for anxiety to be the voice that shaped your decisions. You were created to live with peace, not occasionally, but constantly. You were created to feel grounded, steady, confident, and secure. Peace is not something you earn. Peace is not something you chase. Peace is something I give, and the peace I give is not fragile. It does not break under pressure. It does not disappear when circumstances change. It does not depend on everything being perfect or predictable. My peace remains when life feels uncertain. My peace remains when challenges rise. My peace remains even in the middle of storms. So now, listen closely, because I am speaking directly to the storm inside you. Peace, be still. Fear has had enough space. Anxiety has had enough influence. Confusion has had enough authority. Now peace will lead. Now calm will settle. Now rest will replace tension. Now clarity will replace overwhelm. You will begin to notice this shift, not because everything outside of you changes first, but because something within you changes. I am rewiring the way you respond to life. You will no longer react from panic, but respond from wisdom. You will no longer make decisions out of fear, but from discernment. You will no longer overthink every possibility, but trust the steps I place before you. The storm taught you how deeply you needed me. Now peace will teach you how deeply you are held by me. There were moments when you tried to find peace by controlling outcomes, but control never gave you peace. It only made you more anxious. There were moments when you tried to outrun your emotions, but running only exhausted your spirit more. There were moments when you tried to silence your thoughts by distraction, but distraction never healed the source. I am not giving you temporary relief. I am giving you transformation, not a moment of calm, but a new way of living. You will not fear the future anymore, because you will know I'm already there. You will not fear uncertainty, because you will trust my direction. You will not fear loss, because you will know that what is mine stays, and what leaves was never meant to remain. You will not fear being misunderstood, because your identity will no longer depend on the opinions of others. You will not fear waiting, because you will understand timing. And my child, hear me gently. The thoughts that once spiraled will lose their power. The emotions that once overwhelmed you will soften. The heaviness that once felt permanent will lift. The internal storms that once shook you will become quiet seas. I am giving you peace that does not fluctuate with circumstance. Peace that becomes part of your posture, part of your breathing, part of your identity. You are learning something sacred, how to rest in me. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not giving up. Rest is surrender. Rest is trust. Rest is knowing that you don't have to feel in control to be secure, because I am in control. You do not have to fight every battle alone, because some battles belong to me, not you. You do not have to understand every step, because I guide you even when you can't see the full path. I know there were nights when you tried to quiet your thoughts and could not, times when you replayed conversations, imagined worst-case scenarios, or carried fears about things that never happened. Your heart was tired, not because you lacked strength, but because you were never designed to carry fear on your own. So now, let it go. Not with force, not with pressure, but with trust. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to know how everything will unfold. You don't have to predict the future. You don't have to hold every detail. That is my job. Your role is to walk with me, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. And now I speak over your mind. Peace over your nervousness. Peace over your uncertainty. Peace over every fear that whispers lies. Peace over every thought that tries to overwhelm. Peace over every memory that tries to haunt. Peace over every unknown future. Peace, your mind will calm. Your heart will soften. Your emotions will balance. Your spirit will rest. You will know deep within you that you are safe, not because life is predictable, but because you are held by me. You are not walking blindly. You are not walking alone. You are not stepping forward into confusion. You are moving into clarity, strength, and confidence. You are stepping into a chapter where peace leads your decisions and trust leads your heart. You will see the difference in the way you speak, think, move, and respond. The storm no longer defines you. My presence does. Rest now. Breathe. Settle. Release the weight. I am here. I am with you. And I am bringing peace to every part of you. Piece by piece, gently and completely. My child, now that your heart has begun to breathe again and your spirit is learning to rest, I want you to hear this truth deeply. You will not live with an inner storm forever. The pressure you felt, the restlessness, the heaviness, the confusion, the emotional waves that rise without warning, they are not your new normal. They are not permanent. They are not your identity. They are not your future. This storm has been a season, not a life sentence. You will not always feel the way you have felt. Your spirit will not always feel unsettled. Your heart will not always feel defensive. Your mind will not always feel overwhelmed. Peace is not temporary. Peace is becoming your new foundation. There will come a time, sooner than you expect, when you will look back at this chapter not with fear or exhaustion, but with gratitude. You will see how it taught you to lean on me instead of your own strength. You will recognize how it humbled your fears and strengthened your faith. You will notice how it quieted your dependence on control and deepened your dependence on my presence. You will see how this storm didn't break you. It transformed you. The enemy wanted you to believe that the turbulence inside meant something was wrong with you. But storms do not rise in empty places. Storms rise where something valuable is developing. You have been growing, stretching, shifting, transitioning, and the internal pressure was simply evidence that what is inside you has been changing. You have been released from old patterns, old wounds, old fears, old coping habits, and old emotional defaults. Growth often feels uncomfortable because the old version of you was fighting to stay, while the new version was rising. But now, the war inside you is calming, not because the world changed, but because you are changing. Your spirit is learning that peace is not something you chase. Peace is something you surrender to. Peace is not something you manufacture. Peace is something you allow. Peace is not something you must fight to hold. Peace is something that grows naturally when you trust me with what you cannot control. You may not realize it, but the way you respond to life is already shifting. You're beginning to pause before reacting. You're beginning to breathe instead of panic. You're beginning to pray instead of assume the worst. You're beginning to release what you cannot fix. You're beginning to trust what you cannot yet see. This is growth, not forced, not rushed, but beautifully unfolding. And child, this peace I'm bringing will flow into every part of your life. You will feel it in your relationships, where communication, patience, and understanding will take the place of fear and overthinking. You will feel it in your decisions, where clarity will replace confusion and wisdom will replace hesitation. You will feel it in your future, where confidence will replace uncertainty and trust will replace doubt. You will feel it in your dreams, where boldness will replace fear and purpose will replace insecurity. This peace will not merely touch the surface. It will reach the deepest places of your heart. Peace will sit where anxiety used to live. Peace will guide where fear used to control. Peace will protect where insecurity used to wound. Peace will guard where chaos once had access. You will live differently, not because everything becomes easy, but because peace becomes your response to everything. So now, let me speak gently into your spirit, the part of you that still wonders, still questions, still trembles sometimes. You are safe, you are held, you are guided, you are not alone in the storm. You never were, even when you felt disconnected. I was close, even when you felt unsure. I was steady, even when you didn't feel my presence. I was surrounding you, even when your prayers felt small. I heard every word. And now, let peace settle where fear once lived. Peace to your mind. May every racing thought slow and soften. Peace to your heart. May every unprocessed emotion rest in my comfort. Peace to your memories. May past pain lose its power. Peace to your body. May every tense place loosen and become still. Peace to your spirit. May confidence rise where doubt once stood. Rest now, not because everything is perfect, but because you are learning to trust me even when the outcome is not visible yet. You are stepping into a chapter where peace becomes your atmosphere. Not forced, not fragile, not temporary, but steady, rooted, unshakable peace. And as peace fills you, clarity will come, joy will return, strength will rise, hope will expand, and you will realize that what once overwhelmed you no longer controls you, because my presence now leads you. So now, with gentleness and love, I whisper over your life, you are going to be okay, not just externally, but internally. Your mind will rest, your heart will breathe, your soul will heal, your spirit will flourish, your future will unfold with grace. Peace is coming, peace is growing, peace is becoming part of you. Peace will stay. Now breathe, slow, deep, steady, because you are safe in me. And as you take this next breath, let these words rise from your spirit. God, I'm letting go. I surrender the fear. I surrender the chaos. I surrender the pressure. Replace it with your peace. Calm my mind, soften my heart, steady my thoughts, and lead me into rest. I receive your peace, fully and completely. My child, I am with you, and I am bringing calm to every storm inside you. If this message reached your soul, comment, Lord, calm my storm. Like this, if you felt peace while listening. Subscribe to God's Amen message, so you never miss the next message God speaks through you. Share this with someone whose heart feels heavy. Peace is waiting for them too.